Good afternoon, America. Brandon Hardison, president of Champion Strategies, here for another edition of Hardison's Tips. I'm on lunch break because my students are on lunch break, and I have an opportunity every Wednesday to bring in a special guest to give you, hopefully, new and experienced salespeople. And I hope there's some managers out there because you're going to gain from it too. So let's get right to it. Today's guest is the incomparable Cory Mosley, CSP. He's the principal of Mosley Automotive and a nationally recognized sales strategist and professional speaker committed to helping dealers and manufacturers become more progressive and profitable. Cory has built a strong reputation as a go-to-sales strategist, consultant, and trainer whose techniques and progressive strategies have helped countless dealers build and restructure profitable sales, BDC, and internet operations. In addition to his more than 20-year sales and consulting career, he is also the author of The Way I See It: Thoughts, Commentary, and Musings of a Retail Car Guy, and hosted Progressive Retail with Cory Mosley on the CBT Automotive Network for 3 years. And in 2017, Cory received the AWA Lighthouse Award for his contributions on automotive education excellence. So with that said, welcome, sir.
I gave you the short. I gave you the short bio.
You gave me the short bio. Okay, well, we'll take that. But I know we only have a few minutes, and there's a whole lot of things we've both done. But here's my first question to you. Based on what you see, what advance are you maybe sharing with dealership sales team and managers as we all try to navigate through this COVID-19 during the marketplace? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's a couple of things, Brandon, that first, thanks for having me on. And also, I think there's a couple of things to consider. I mean, I've been saying this for the last 3 or 4 months. The dealerships that were progressive before COVID, just became more progressive, right? The dealers that were ignoring different things that they probably should be doing, I use the word punishment. Those are the ones that got punished through that process, and whether weren't able to sell cars. I mean, as you know, there were people that were having record months. Now, that is definitely based on demographics, where you're located, what the impact of COVID has been in the business. But it has brought a lot of people to their knees and to the drawing board from a culture conversation, from a strategies conversation. So I think ultimately there's 3 things to look at here. Number one is the dealership taking a dealer-centric process or a customer-centric process to how they're engaging and how they're selling cars, right? Dealer-centric stuff is things that were designed to make it easier for you as the dealer to potentially sell a car, right? Those are those processes that are like, what's the easiest way for me to do it? Customer-centric, right, now becomes what becomes more convenient to the buyer, what becomes I hate to overuse the word transparent process, but what becomes a process through and through that is designed to heighten customer experience, to want customers to want to buy from us and want to refer us. And as a salesperson, are some of the things that you're doing impacting that message to drive it home and make it more important or less important? The second thing to point out here is the opportunity to start to think like a customer. And I came into business, I'm sure when you did also, I came into business where you still had demos. So salespeople had demos. You know, you sold your 8 cars, your 10 cars, you had your average or what have you, and you had your demo to drive. And inside that model, right, it wasn't until I became a customer myself, I literally went from high school to the car business. So I had a demo. So kind of my first car was a demo, so to speak. But it wasn't until I kind of came out of the retail side and had to make my way on a Saturday morning to a car dealership and become the customer that my mindset really changed on expectations, right? We have these expectations of a spot delivery. We have these expectations of a customer coming in, making this instant decision in 20 minutes, and then, getting them through the next stage and getting them in the box, getting them out.
Right.
So I think a lot of salespeople think based on their personal objectives, how many cars they think based on their lifestyle, what bills are due next week. They think based on how they're managed. Oh my God, I'm under so much pressure. If I don't have 5 appointments in on Saturday, I'm in trouble. And then they react based that way. So I think taking the opportunity to think more like a customer as you go through your process in the things that you say. You know, we're all on autopilot when we're with customers, right? Whatever the training is the training comes out. So whatever your meet and greet is, that's what you say every time, whatever your process is. But a lot of times we never examine that and go, would I buy a car from me? So in a lot of ways. And then the third thing, and I'll throw it back to you for follow-up, the third thing is ultimately being where your customers are. Right now, I'm watching 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds come into this business, start their TikTok and Snapchat channels, and get on there. And I'm watching these guys sell 10, 12, 13 cars a month first out of the gate. Now, I know a new broom always sweeps clean, as they say, but I'm watching people come into this business, and 6 months later, they're still consistently doing it. They're going to where their customers are and creating content that makes customers want to do business with them, other than just, I'm your car guy.
Love it.
So those are the 3 points I would make, and we can jump off with the time we have.
No. I like it. Let me go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
From your experience then, or from what you've read, what you've heard, and from what I've seen out there, the dealerships that were ready or even scurried to try to put something together where they can offer their guests on their website an opportunity to buy or service a vehicle without coming into the dealerships, it seems like they're navigating their way around. Customer satisfaction still seems to be there, the confidence, versus the dealers that, hey, they have nothing to offer. They were caught with their pants down with that. I mean, I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, but it seems like if you have some way where the customer can do everything online and the vehicle will be shipped, seem like you're going to be in pretty good shape. But what are you experiencing?
So I think there's a couple things to look at here. Number one, you want to examine, right, how we sold cars before, but also here's something that nobody had. Okay. We did not have an ability to say, oh my goodness, COVID is here. Let me get out the playbook from 1998 of how we handled COVID. Right. So no one had the ability to really do that. It wasn't like the 08, 09 kind of situation where that was an economical impact. And while people have been impacted financially during COVID-19, you're also dealing with a fear factor. And what a lot of dealers did not do over these past few months is they didn't remove fear from the equation. They said, hey, we're hosing stuff down. We're spraying. We're spraying ourselves down. We're spraying each other down. You know, they talked about those things, but they didn't really remove the fear from the situation. They said, no problem. You don't have to come here. We'll drive the car to you. Well, what if the guy's got COVID that's driving the car to me? What if he's coughing all in my car? So, you know, people laugh at me because I don't use grocery delivery. A lot of people have turned to like Instacart and everything. I go dead into that Whole Foods and I pick my produce and pick my meat. I don't want some rando going in and throwing. They don't care. And I watch them. I watch them all in the Whole Foods there. You know, they go to the meat counter. Oh, I don't care. Just give me a pound of this. And so I don't know what those people are doing. I don't know what the supply chain looks like. Now, I might not be able to control it from the truck to the store, but I darn well can control it from the store to my house. So I think people that didn't remove fear and thought that they were just going to put a button on their website and say, we're now digital retailing, it was going to solve the problem. I think those people were in for a rude awakening. They maybe didn't sell cars like they said. And as we were working with dealers, it was an interesting time because, of course, right, you dealt with state closures, regulations. Some people were online only. So you were going through these variants. But I remember having a conversation with one of our clients, and we were talking about video F&I, or the ability to, you know, do something as simple. Let's get a webcam in the F&I department, so people, if they have questions or you have to courier paperwork, those things of the nature, you can have a more personal experience in especially trying to sell product and those things on the phone.
Sure.
And you got a GM who was on board, but an F&I manager who's like, oh, I don't want to be on camera and have this camera stuff. So you can't wish progressive thinking on somebody. It doesn't come by osmosis. It doesn't you can't hold a meeting and say, we're going to be like the Ritz-Carlton and then in the meeting and expect people to just the flow of it just comes into their body and now they're treating customers better, right? It doesn't work that way. So I think if a belief system didn't change in your store, then all the digital retailer or who you picked or what widget you put on your website or whatever, especially, Brandon, if you're just waiting for this to be over so you can then go back, right? So as soon as my free trial on digital retailing is over, I'm taking it off the website and we're going to go back to the way it was. Because I don't know if that's going to happen. I think you will have a percentage of people who will prefer contactless, and you have people who said, no, I still like the one-to-one relationship. I'm just going to wait. That's what I said. You have all these people who are talking about masks and things of that nature. Instead of arguing with my personal opinion, I just have to make a decision. If I'm just going to come back later, I'm not going to argue with a business because they want me to do something or they're concerned about their safety. I'm not going to debate. I'm just going to say, you know what? This doesn't work for me right now. I'll come back. Let's watch the situation, and I'll come back to your restaurant, or I'll come back to your dealership, or I'll come back to your massage establishment once I'm more comfortable with everything that's happening. And that's what you have people doing. So one thing, digital retailing is not going to solve the problem for somebody who doesn't want to do it that way, but it will create an opportunity for people who are looking for that old classification, right? Convenience buyer, right? That convenience buyer bucket that I'm sure you train on, that's going to be perfect for them. They're going to say, where has this been all my life? And then you're going to have the traditional people or the more traditional people that want to taste, touch. I mean, you had stores who couldn't do test drives. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Who, in what process do you even allow, in what sales process do you kind of let a customer just come in and start? I mean, who does that? You walk in and you go right to a Foursquare? Nobody does that in a road to sale or a proper road to sale that is a high gross road to sale. So I think those are the things that now we're just creating a new branch of the tree that will help you attract some buyers.
I thank you for that, because I remember 2 weeks ago, I was helping out with organization with some HR interviewing before they went to the managers. And these were experienced salespeople.
Right.
And this was, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, Cory. And what happened to your store? Well, they laid me off and they shut down, sanitized, and then they let me go and said, because consumer confidence was going down the window. I didn't know that this group was hiring. Well, I had told him, well, this group, if you want to believe it, the CEO 5 years ago said that let's get prepared for the next generation who do not want to spend a whole lot of time in the dealership. So they were used to this. Right. So when the COVID hit, it didn't really change what they were normally doing. So not too many dealers, I guess, had the forethought of that at that time. But here's what I want you to, just from your travels.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've both been fortunate to not only do the automobiles, but we've worked with other companies. Mm-hmm. So when we look at the major account, the key account, the up and down the street, even the in-home salesperson, with this COVID, have you seen some changes on how they operate, what their salespeople are doing, trying to get to a decision maker?
Well, I think absolutely. Obviously, people are leveraging the power of video. They're more leveraging text messaging, things that people were talking about, but were slow to move to get. Because Brandon, the person that gets punished is Earl, the 30-year veteran who didn't want to call nobody, and I'm using broken English on purpose, didn't want to call nobody on their birthday, didn't want to call a service customer and say hello, didn't want to go shake hands with anybody, get them in, sit them down in front of me, and I know what to do when they get here. That's who's getting punished. That's who's saying the dealership didn't call me back. That's who's saying the dealership, I'm not making any money. I'm not making any more money in the business. The business has changed. It's the customer.
Yeah.
We need to stop giving customers information. The internet ruined the business. That's who's punished. I remember working with a guy who literally told a woman to come back with her husband. Like, I watched him do it. And that guy stayed in the business for another 10 years. Hey, you know what? Let's not talk too many details. Why don't you bring your husband back and we'll work some numbers? So that's still in our business.
Right.
So those are the people that are getting punished. You refuse to get on social media. You refuse. I don't want to know nothing about Facebook. I don't want to know nothing. Guess what? My grandma's on Facebook. So this is not an age thing. This is a mindset. This is a mindset, belief system, and culture. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't too long ago. You and I will both remember it wasn't too long ago where dealerships bought software to stop you from getting on social media in the store.
Yes. You're right.
Websites. We've locked it down. I don't want people on YouTube or Facebook or internet stuff. So there are some people who are still in that belief system, and they're missing customers, and they're wondering why they're coming in and they're blowing past you, the veteran, and they're going to the quote unquote green piece because they saw that green piece Snapchat that got 30,000 views and sold 4 or 5 cars for them for free.
Yes,
for free. So
no, you're exactly right. Yeah. I was even at a group working where in their overall corporate hierarchy, for each one of their campuses, they had hired a social media expert to help out these seasoned salespeople who were fearful of the camera. And they were just trying to say, well, what do you want to say? I will do this, I'll do. And they still refuse to change their spots. As we used to say, they're still waiting for that up bus to show up, and it's not coming. It's not coming.
I did a LinkedIn clinic. Listen, who wants to get what salesperson on earth is not on LinkedIn? I have no idea for it. The ability to get referrals from your customer, to get recommended by them, where people can see other people are buying confidence. I've never met a salesperson in a dealership that told me that they weren't great. They're all great. They're all the greatest closers. They're all the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. But I can't find them on LinkedIn. I can't. They link it. They hit me on social media and want to be Facebook friends. I go to their page. I don't know what they do. I don't know who they are. And you know what I do? Boop, delete. Because if you don't have any pride of purpose, if you're hiding and you don't want anybody to know you're in the car business, then you're in the wrrong business.
Boom.
I don't know who's after you. I don't know. We know all the jokes. Oh, I don't want my picture on the website. I don't know who's. In our business, somebody might be after you. I don't know what indictment you might have. But you have to be out there. Why do realtors slam magnets on the side of their cars proudly and drive around to drive business, and automotive professionals don't do it? I don't get it.
That's it. Well, as I still interview people, I still try to let them know that area of operation, whether it's a desk, cubicle, whatever you have, the manufacturer, along with the dealer principal or general manager, they're helping you out. You need to think of this as a partnership. It's your name. Right. How do you want to tell your story? They just want a unit. They don't care where you get it. Just get the unit. So, but here's a couple more just before we get out of here. With that. Anything that you're seeing when it comes to people who want to try, because of the COVID, their vertical is shut down. I want to try automobiles. Is there anything for people who want to change and get into retail automotive sales that you can give as maybe a suggestion or a point?
Nothing happens in the world until something gets sold, right? From the shirt, from the clothes we have on, from the technology we're using to stream, all of that had to get sold. So as much as we argue with the office managers, as much as we Hatfields and McCoys with the service departments and the techs and all these different things that go on in the drama of a car dealership, nothing happens until a sales transaction happens. So sales will be still one of the greatest opportunities for growth, income, and sustainability as a skill. The automotive industry, plugging into that, taking sales skill or developing your skills, plugging into that, we're going to continue to drive. And in fact, the reports show that we are, because of COVID, pulling away from things like, in your case, MARTA and public transportation, and these ride sharing. And I mean, you're never going to catch me in an Uber pool to begin with, but people are pulling away from that and actually saying, you know what, I might need my own car where I can control the environment, I can hose it down, I can mask up, I can feel comfortable. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity to get in the business. And like I said, if you stay true to being where your customers are and being prepared to do that, that's why young people are doing so well in the business when they come in. They're not afraid to get on. They're not afraid to get on Snapchat. They're not afraid to get on TikTok. And I'm amazed by the response from customers. I'm amazed. I'm tracking several young people who have started in the business and are using that medium to educate customers and then create authority through that education. You know, people who are like, you sell GMCs. I wasn't even going to buy a GMC, but I liked you. And now now I'm taking a look at your product. And people just don't have enough respect for the impact of providing information and then having that information make you an authority in a customer's mind. So that to me is the opportunity for new people coming in and not being afraid, because the old, I don't have a customer base. I don't, all these guys have been here for years. Shame on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 year people that are hawking the door. I'm sorry. So I'll get some emails, I'm sure, but it's just truth. So I think it's a tremendous opportunity in the business to get in. As with anything, you want to be in the right environment. You want to be in the right culture. I mean, an organization that like those that you're working with, who have that commitment and have the forethought. You know how many organizations I've gone to over the years that desperately need somebody like you in there, need a consistent training program, need a consistent process, that are still like, here's your pen and there's the inventory, and go shadow Earl, the guy who's on the way out. Go shadow Earl for 3 weeks, and now you're off to the races, because they won't make an investment. Some people, Brandon, just don't understand math. ROI and what I call ROE, also return on energy. So that's my advice is don't be afraid to get into the market, and know that if you're willing to be where your customers are and show up where they're looking, then you have a tremendous opportunity to generate an income and create a great lifestyle in the business.
Beautiful. I like it, because you said information, you said knowledge, and that's how you separate yourself from the old car guy. Customers want information. They love knowledge. So before we let you go, anything you got on your plate? What's coming up on your world?
I mean, I'm not really promoting anything. I mean, I follow you. I love what you're doing for the automotive community. I follow some of the other stuff you do on social media relative to history, and I learned so much from you. So this was a no-brainer to pop on here. I mean, if I was going to talk about one thing, you mentioned the book. I mean, the book has come out a few years ago. The way I see it, it's very relevant also still today. Jim Ziegler wrote the foreword, so I was privileged to have him. I know that's that's a big name in our industry and a friend of yours. So I would just say, I mean, it's on Amazon if you want. No, nobody gets rich writing books unless you're John Grisham or Tom Clancy. But if you want a nice car guy read, not too thick, but a nice car guy read that's going to give you some strategies. Adjust your thinking. It's $14 on Amazon. I think somebody's even reselling them. Now you made it, where somebody's read it and now got it for resale, right? You got enough in the marketplace. But I would just suggest that anybody looking for a good read, just to expand their mind. That's all I got. It was just a privilege to come on, spend a few minutes with you, further our relationship, and hopefully pass along some things that will get people excited, get people tuned in, get people clear on their path.
Excellent. Appreciate it. I know there's a lot more we can both talk about, because I would still love to talk about DCH, great prosperous company, but that's all right. I'll catch you up with another time. But ladies and gentlemen, the outstanding Cory Mosley, go out and get his book. And as always, in parting, you go out and make it a champion day. Thank you, Cory.
You're welcome, my brother.